You're not hurting because you lost them, you're hurting because God didn't stop it. There are kinds of pain that don't come from loss alone, but from the prayers that went unanswered. You believed, truly believed. Not casually, but the kind of faith that brings you to your knees, eyes closed, hands trembling, whispering, "This time, please don't be silent." And yet, he was. You stood there, watching everything unfold, as if you were outside your own life. You watched the one you loved, grow weaker, colder, until they were gone. And no miracle came. No light. No sudden healing. No sign that heaven had heard you. Only silence. And in that moment, something inside you cracked. Not your faith all at once, but a fracture, deep and spreading. You began to wonder. Did I pray wrong? Was I not good enough? Am I not worth being heard? You didn't say it out loud, but slowly, you began to question not just yourself, but him. And that terrified you. Because you used to believe that Jesus Christ was always there. Always listening. Always acting. Always saving. But this time, he didn't. And you don't know what to do with that. You can't go back to how things were, as if nothing changed. But you also can't fully walk away, because something in you still wants to believe. So you're stuck. Between faith and doubt. Between hope and despair. Between love and anger. Yes, anger. Not loud, explosive anger, but something quiet, heavy, buried deep inside. You're angry because he could have done something, but didn't. You're angry because one miracle, just one, could have changed everything. You're angry because you prayed, sincerely, desperately, and still, you lost. You don't say it, because you're afraid. Afraid of sounding ungrateful. Afraid of being wrong. Afraid you're betraying your faith. But be honest, you're hurting. And you're angry. And that does not make you a bad person. There are pains that cannot be softened by pretty words. It's God's will. Everything happens for a reason. You'll understand someday. Those words may be true, but in the moment you lose someone you love, they feel empty. You don't need a reason. You need them back. But they don't come back. And that's where your faith is truly tested. Not when everything is good. Not when prayers are answered. But when nothing is. You start asking questions you never dared to ask before. If he loves me, why did he let this happen? This isn't rebellion. This is a broken heart, searching. And you wonder if you've gone too far just by asking. But you haven't. Even those closest to him have asked the same. Not because they lacked faith, but because they were in pain. You're trying to stay strong, but inside, you're falling apart. You try to be the rock, because you think that's what's expected. But the truth is, you're breaking too. You don't even know who you are anymore. Before, you knew. You were the one who believed. The one who prayed. The one who held on. But now, you're not sure who that person is. You look at yourself, and feel like a stranger. Not because you've completely changed, but because you're no longer certain what's real. You're not sure if prayer still matters. You're not sure if God still listens. You're not sure if your faith is enough. And what hurts the most isn't the lack of answers, it's the silence. That silence doesn't just stay around you, it starts to settle within you. You pray, but it feels different. You speak, but feel unheard. You believe, but without certainty. And then, fear sets in. Fear that you've lost something essential, and can't get it back. But pause, just for a moment, and hear this gently. There is a truth, not easy to accept, but still true. There are losses that God allows. Not because He doesn't love you. Not because you aren't worthy. Not because your prayers don't matter. But because there are things beyond what you can understand right now. And yes, you're allowed to hate that. You're allowed to not understand. You're allowed to hurt. You're allowed to question. Faith is not the absence of doubt. Faith is staying, even when you don't understand. You don't have to pretend to be strong. You don't have to pretend you're okay. You don't have to say the right things. You just have to stay. Stay, even when you don't understand. Stay, even when you're angry. Stay, even when you feel nothing. Because here's something most people won't tell you: Jesus Christ is not only present when you're strong, He is there when you are at your weakest. Even in your doubt. Even in your anger. Even when you want to walk away. He does not leave. Not when you cry. Not when you lose. Not when you don't understand. He does not leave. You may not feel Him, but that doesn't mean He isn't there. Sometimes, the love of God is not stopping the loss, but staying with you through it. And that kind of love is hard to understand. Because it's not how we love. We love by protecting, holding on, preventing loss. But God's love sometimes doesn't prevent the loss, it walks with you through it. And yes, that hurts. Deeply. But if you can, just a little, don't try to understand everything. Don't force an explanation. Don't chase a perfect answer. Just, don't walk away. Just, stay. Even if you're crying. Even if you're angry. Even if you have no words left. Just, stay. Because there is a promise, not for today, not for your darkest moment, but for the days when you still find the strength to keep going. Stay with me, and in time, you will understand. You may not understand today. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe it will take a long time, before you look back, and begin to see something you cannot see now. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. There are things being formed in the middle of your pain. Not to make you perfect, but to make you deeper. Not to remove your pain, but to teach you how to remain, even within it. And one day, you will stand beside someone else, who is breaking, who is grieving, who is asking the same questions you once asked, and you won't need many words. You will just be there. And your presence will be the answer. Not spoken, but lived. Because you were once in the dark, and you stayed.